Hi, Terry and Marge and Marcia. Marcia, have you been traveling?
Was it?
Have you been traveling?
Um, no, my husband has COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry. From last
Again.
weekend, you think?
Was it?
From last
I,
weekend, you think?
I don't know because he had it like 3, 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and
Oh, bounce
I don't
back.
know if maybe it didn't go away completely. I don't know, but
Oh,
I don't want it.
I know. Is he feeling all right?
He's coughing a lot, which you might hear while we're,
Oh, I'm
while
sorry.
we're on. But
All right.
yeah.
Welcome back. And hi, everybody. Marge and Terry and Dani and Dee Dee. Welcome, Dee Dee. We're glad you're joining us today.
Thank you.
How's everybody?
This Marge person, Marge who?
Rabbi Adam.
Rabbi.
Rabbi Adam's bar name is Marge, or the other way around. I don't know which.
Okay, I'll change it. There I go.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
Hi, Julie. Welcome back to people who we haven't seen in a while. Kelly just got back, and she's actually friends with Dani. And when she saw Sly Rooster post this recipe a month or so ago, unlike me, who called Dani and said, "Will you make that with us? It looks so great." Kelly made it herself. And she said it is absolutely a great soup. And she's sorry she's not going to make it to join us today because she's just back from 2 weeks away and she still has to do her taxes. So she says hello to all of you. And
That is so stressful. I remember living in New York City and like they would show images of people lined up outside of the post office, like to get it stamped by the deadline. I don't know if they still show that or do that, but that always seemed like the worst.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing that too. That is really funny. But anyway, I am so happy to, for those of you who didn't meet Sly Rooster last time, this is Dani Crichton, and she's joining us again. She is a neighbor and a food blogger and a chef. And what I found this time, because last time I cooked along with her, and this time I cooked this morning this soup. And what I found and wanted to share about what I love so much about her food blog is every week I get something that tempts me in my inbox. And today I learned that she perfects recipes that are out there otherwise. So I am so excited. This was a Give Me Some Oven. Is that the name of it?
Yes. I'm glad you take
And
note of that because I was unsure. But yes, that was, and they actually have a lot of good recipes.
they do, and we've cooked a few in the past. And I try to do what you do well for our group, which is kind of pre-read the recipes, try it out, maybe make it easier to do, make it a little tastier. But I'm like, somebody walking down the street. She's someone who lives in the kitchen. So what you're getting here today, I can vouch for because I got I think I got 9 quarts of really yummy peanut curry lentil soup. It has so much flavor. I may do with some of the things that I had. I had a little jar of Malaysian curry. And I looked up the difference, and it's supposed to be a little bit of a spicier thing, but I used it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I kind of made some choices, but it all worked out great, which is to me a mark of a fantastic interface between the original recipe and what we
Yes. Well, that's right. Well, the original recipe I thought was good, but I think I like lots of flavor, and I find that people like lots of flavor and they might not realize that. So I just punched up, as I mentioned in my blog initially, just punched up all the flavors. And I also tried it one time with spinach instead of kale, and because that's what I had, and with low-fat coconut milk instead of full-fat coconut milk, and that all worked. But I actually liked it best with kale and the full fat. So a little trial and error, which always works.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your food blog.
Sure.
I will put that I'll put that in the chat in case anybody wants to sign up for it. I think you'll be pleased if you do.
Thank you. All right, and I found glasses. So are we ready to start, or?
We are ready.
All right. Hi, everybody. All right, so everybody should be heating up their big pot. I have an extra big one over here, but whatever proportions you're using. If you're using the proportions that were sent out through KindWorks, you're going to need a big pot. So heat it up, and you can add about 1/4 cup of oil to your pot. I'm running out of oil. And you want to let that get sort of sizzly before you add your onions and your yellow peppers. So if you have not already gone ahead and diced, you're going to have 3 yellow peppers and 3 onions, and you're going to need to dice both of those. This soup does not get pureed. I'm double checking myself on that, but I'm pretty sure. So, you know, you want everything to be like a nice mouthfeel size, nothing too chunky. A lot of my soups are pureed, and for those, I would, you know, say it doesn't really matter because you're going to mix them all up anyway, but this is going to stay intact. So you want them kind of small. I could show you what I did if anyone cares, but you all are pretty seasoned cooks, I think. So, but, like this was a sample of my yellow pepper dice. I don't know if that shows, and then the onions. So I have them all prepped in a bowl, and I'm going to add them to my pan as soon as it's just heated up a little bit. Is anyone chopping now, or did everybody chop in advance?
I bet we got some choppers.
Okay, good, good. So make sure that your pan, your pot, and your oil is just heating while you're chopping. And can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Thumbs up. Yep.
And if anybody drinks wine, I fully encourage them to pour themselves a glass. There's no wine in this recipe, but that's not a reason not to open a bottle. So pour yourself a glass, make a cup of coffee, whatever it is that gets you through. If anyone is done chopping your peppers and onions, you can move ahead to your garlic and the sweet potatoes. Those are really the only things. The kale gets a little bit of a rough chop, but those are really the only things that need to be chopped for the whole recipe. So while things are sauteing, just kind of keep moving through the chopping. I could smell my olive oil, so I'm going to add my peppers and my onions to the pot, and I'll just start giving them a saute. We want to just have them soften a bit before we go to the next step.
Dani, can I ask you a question about those yellow peppers?
Yeah, sure.
2 things. Do yellow and orange peppers have a different enough flavor that it matters? Red, I think.
Not to me at all. And I would also say that red might taste slightly different, although I would argue that blind taste test, I might not know.
Okay.
And that those would be fine too. It's green peppers, you know, as we know, are totally different.
Okay.
So I'm not even sure why yellow were specified in this recipe, maybe just for the color, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then also, I was worried about putting my peppers in as long as I wanted my onions to cook. So I did it in stages, but you didn't. It's
No,
fine, right?
and that's fine. Yeah, it really, they both cook down, and usually the onions do go in first, and then usually you'll add the garlic and then the peppers. But for some reason, this recipe had the onions and peppers together, and I thought it worked out well. Oftentimes, you just don't want to add the garlic when you add the onions or the peppers, because the garlic will tend to burn, and no one wants that. So I like that this recipe kept the garlic separate, and that's the most important part.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, it's time for me to ask questions about what I'm doing, which of
Thank
course
goodness.
I love it.
not what you're doing. So I'm up to the point where I add my kale. I
Oh, wow, okay.
don't know how many, and I've also only added 2 cans of the coconut milk because I thought that was enough. I have a 3rd can, I just haven't added it. And I also used a green pepper because it was really, really, really time to use that green pepper, and a yellow pepper and an orange pepper. So
That's fine.
very colorful because soup is
You-
forgiving. So here's my
Perfect.
question. What is it, 6 handfuls of kale? How many?
Like about 6 cups of
Large
kale.
hands.
I think it's 6 cups.
Oh, is it 6 cups?
Yeah, 6 cups. Yeah.
I put mine in slowly, but I ended up throwing it all in because it,
You know, and I
really
bought a
did.
bag too, and I only pulled out 6 cups, and I'm like, might end up throwing that whole thing in because it can never have too much.
Okay, so I'm about to do that. I have some comments on kale for those of you, because I haven't made a soup with kale since last night. And yesterday's bag of kale came from Giant. A bag of kale at Giant is 16 ounces, as in 1 pound. A bag of kale at Aldi's, of all places, is organic and is only 12 ounces. But the bag of kale from Aldi's has so many fewer. I mean, I'm already halfway through the bag and I've got like only this many, like nothing. You see them? Nothing in the stem department. The stems in the Aldi's bag, I mean, all your giant, that extra 4 ounces is all stems. It's just so much easier to pick through the Aldi's bag. So my recommendation of something to buy at Aldi's, other than eggs, which are cheaper, is kale. This is not the first time I bought it there. It's just better. It's just
Couple
easy.
of commentaries on that. One is, I don't hate the stems. I'm just saying, especially in like a chopped one, I feel like it gives a little texture. And so unless you hate them, you don't like them. Okay, so you can skip that.
I think
Second of all,
the taste is strong. It's the taste. They're
yeah,
crunchy and they're a little bit. So if you're not a big kale fan,
it's too much. Okay. And secondly, I love Aldi. My kids love their baked goods. Like they love their muffins and they always have like a cinnamon bread or something. They love that. I think their vegetables are so much better than Trader Joe's. And I know that there's association between the two, but I think their vegetables are fantastic. They've got these like great little tomatoes always. I am like a huge Aldi's fan. So
yeah,
good
certain
on you.
things are great. They sell English muffins for $1.25 for a 6-pack that are better than Thomas's English muffins.
Oh, I'm so loyal to Thomas's. I don't know.
I was raised on Thomas's English muffins at $1.25. I mean, giant, you have to buy 2, get 1 free, buy 2, get 2 free. It's craziness. And you're still paying more than the $1.25 from Aldi's.
I am so sad that the Price is Right went off. I went off TV. I would make Marge be my partner and we would.
I know.
But I only know what I buy. I don't,
So true. All right, I'm looking to see. Is my sister on here? I feel like
We got a
that might
Peg. Is Peg your sister?
No, she's not.
Oh,
Where are
Dani.
you, Mom? I was wondering where you are.
I'm here. I don't see me, but I'm here.
Okay.
But Julie can't, she's in the car still.
Oh, I see a Julie, and I wasn't sure if that was Julie. You could put your camera on, Mom.
I don't know how.
Oh.
Oh. And we don't have Nancy this time. Do you remember, Deb? My second mother, Nancy, was a big
Yes.
chatter the last time.
She was adorable. Where's Nancy, Dee Dee?
Where's
It's her
Nancy?
daughter's birthday today.
What better way to celebrate than to make some peanut curry soup with Sly Rooster?
Is she out for dinner with Meg?
I don't know if she's out for dinner, but I'm sure she's spending the day with her.
All right. Okay.
How do I put my camera on?
On the bottom left of the Zoom screen, there's a thing that says video. Like I think
It says stop video.
So
Oh.
click
Oh.
that because maybe that has a line on.
or go. Let me see. Is it maybe in your little it should be in your little square. It should say, oh, you went away.
She might be signing back in.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
If
There
you-
you are, Mom. Hi.
If you look at the participant list, are you able to unmute her? Maybe that's where the.
It's not no, she's not muted. It's the video.
Can you
Okay.
speak, Mom? No, now you're muted. But I see her. Oh, anyway, we'll figure her out.
Okay.
But she's muted. Maybe that's best.
She's connecting. Let's see. She's connecting.
Okay.
Oh, we have her video. Mom is a genius.
Yes, but she's not cooking, so she doesn't need to speak. She could just listen.
That does
Anyway.
not stop people on KindSoups from speaking.
And hi to everybody else. It looks like a bunch of regulars, huh?
We have a lot of regulars, but they all showed
That's
up
awesome.
for you. They don't always show up for me, Dani.
Oh,
This is great.
thank you for coming. Okay, so people who are sauteing, I mean, mine's still sauteing. I'm just giving you a little stir. You want to get to like that translucent soft part. So I'm sorry for like the downtime. I'm upping my heat a little bit, but it seems like everyone still looks pretty busy. Am I right on that? And if you're not, then go ahead and mince your garlic real fine. And you could peel your potatoes because I've already gone ahead and done that. And that's going to get into like a 3/4 inch dice or 1/2 inch dice. I did mine a little smaller. So I would say like a 1/4 inch dice. And then your kale will end up getting like a rough chop. Again, since you're not pureeing the soup. You don't want any like huge pieces that are gonna fall off your spoon and just make it harder to eat. I've already gone ahead and opened my coconut milk. You can go ahead and do that. And everyone knows what other ingredients are on the docket.
So can we talk lentils for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
So everybody already has their lentils. So this is more like background. If we are not at a point where we need to be cooking things right now and people are just letting their stuff saute. So wherever I went, I think it was Trader Joe's, they didn't have the brown lentils. They had black and green or something.
Green. Yeah.
So then I went to Whole Foods and, you know, I'm in New York. I'm not back in Potomac. So then they had mung beans or something. And I said, okay, well, I happen to know those are lentils of a kind. And then I went somewhere else and I did in fact find the brown, the nasty gristedes. They did have like the brown lentils. So now I have all these different kinds of lentils in my kitchen. And I got online and I tried to figure out A, which do I want? And B, like learn about whether they're healthier or what do you
Yes.
know and want to teach
You
us
know,
about lentils?
First of all, I want to say that until very recently, I had never heard of green lentils, and I'm just trying to get my bag from the garbage here, but I too ended up buying green lentils when I couldn't find brown lentils, but I did have like 3/4 of a bag of brown lentils left. These are all of them in my measuring cup, and there's zero difference.
Yeah.
So as far as I can tell, green lentils and brown lentils are the same.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a marketing thing that they want to be called green. The other lentils are different. Like green lentils or brown lentils, I think are kind of like this like happy medium where they can hold their shape, but they also can somewhat dissolve. But when you eat like a lentil soup, a typical lentil soup is usually made with a brown or a green lentil where there's some texture there, but it's also kind of creamy or smooth, if that's, you know, whatever. A red lentil, they're generally smaller. I just know how they apply to cooking. I don't really know their nutritional content.
Okay.
They tend to they'll totally turn to mush.
Okay.
So they'll be like a smooth soup without really pureeing. It's like a red lentil. And a black lentil, I think will hold its shape almost entirely. And I think that's used in a lot of like Indian cuisine, like in like certain dals and whatnot. Someone else can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong. I think that all lentils are a great source of protein. I think the great thing about lentils is that it's one of the legumes or beans that do not need to be soaked. So you don't have to do any of that like advanced, like soak them, rinse them, that kind of thing. And I think they all could be cooked in that way. So that's what I know about lentils. Is anyone else here a lentil expert?
I'm not an expert, but we've been cooking with lentils now for 3.5 years. And so initially I went out to look like you did about the difference between the green and the brown lentils, and there really is no difference. And since Aldi sells the green lentils at a really reasonable price, that's where I bought them. I did, however, go down to the Bethesda Co-op initially, I think one of the first times, and I looked at the lentil prices, and those black lentils and the very fancy brown lentils that they had were just outrageously expensive. So it's like, you know, you're cooking gallons of this soup. I'm not going to start buying lentils that cost $6, $7, $8 a pound or more. It's craziness. I have not checked them since. This was probably 3 years ago.
I don't think they're actually super interchangeable either. I mean, not to say that they would taste bad or whatever, but I do think the soup would come out differently. I think that the amount of liquid would be off. So I think that brown and green are good to exchange. And then I think red and black are different beasts. So I would say keep them for what they are. And brown and black lentils, I think, are really good if you're using like a lentil salad, if you're making like a salad, although you could use brown lentils for that as well. But anyway.
The red lentils around here that I found, I can only find the Goya they have them at the Asian markets and they have them at Giant, but I haven't seen red lentils anywhere else. They might have them at Co-op.
Yekta Market. Marge, Yekta Market has wonderful red lentils.
Oh, well, yes, but how much are you paying for them? Are you paying $10 a pound? Again,
I don't think so, but
okay, I'm gonna go look at that because, right, I haven't gotten there yet. Because you only sent me that last week. Give me a minute here.
That's a great
I'm
market.
just, about
I'm
20
gonna go
minutes ago,
ahead.
I was, sorry.
No,
I
no,
went
you
to-
go.
I went to the co-op about 20 minutes ago, right as we were starting, and they had like 6 different color lentils. And the brown ones that they had were $3.29 a pound versus $2.99 a pound for the red. Like, they weren't ridiculous. I didn't think it was ridiculous.
As I
And-
said, it was years ago, but again, they don't compare to the $1.29 a pound at Aldi's, right? I mean,
So,
use.
All right, hold on. We have important garlic information coming. Hold on.
I'm just gonna toss my garlic in because my onions and peppers look about ready. So if anyone else feels like tossing theirs in, go right ahead.
And Marcia, if you feel like talking to us about the different food benefits between lentils, I think at least I would be curious. I don't know about if I'm boring.
I would too. for
No,
sure.
Danny and I would be curious, Marcia.
Yeah, I'm not aware of different nutritional benefits. I could get back to you next week, but
It's the date.
I agree with everything you said about, the reds cook way fast and, you could be done in a few minutes. So if you just wanted to add it to another dish, you could do that really easily. But otherwise, I think the brown and green are the same. And when I was buying them, what I ended up with was Pardino lentils, which I didn't know what that has to do with anything, but they look brown. So I got them.
So let's see.
They're the same as, where am I here?
Yep, got it. I see.
Um, So they look the same as all the others, as you said, the browns and greens look about the same size, and I've never really distinguished between them when I'm cooking.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
and I agree, the blacks are different, the reds are different, and these are the same, so.
All right, perfect. Thank you all. That helps.
Okay, now shortly after you add your garlic, keep stirring. Again, we don't want the garlic to burn, and then you're gonna add your vegetable broth. Now, my favorite vegetable broth is the Better Than Bouillon, and I just sort of use that by the teaspoon, and then I add the water. But for some reason, when I was shopping for this, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be talking and that won't be so easy and whatever. So I ended up I was at Trader Joe's and I bought the Trader Joe's low sodium vegetable broth. I will say that I always buy low sodium vegetable broth if I'm gonna buy, or any broth, because I'd rather control the salt. I'm not opposed to salt, but I'd rather be in control. And this is not my favorite vegetable broth, but it'll be fine in this soup because there's so many strong flavors, but I just wanted to mention that. But it's a nice organic broth. The price is right and it's low sodium. Again, Better Than Bouillon would be my personal choice. So I'm going to go ahead and add, I think it said, what did it say? 18 cups. So that's 4.5 quarts by my math. So I'm going to add that before my garlic burns. And does anybody else have opinions on any broths or vegetable broths specifically? Is anyone else a Better Than Bouillon fan like me? Oh, someone's holding one up. Okay, what is that? Oh, Better Than Bouillon. It's the best, isn't it? For all the varieties. I like it for any broth at all. I have like 3 different jars in my fridge at all times.
Yeah, and I buy the big ones at Costco. They have
Yes.
huge ones at Costco.
Yes.
Yeah, I
the
just stocked
best.
up
I do the
today.
same. Go, that's perfect. Yeah. And it's just, I just felt like, I usually pre-mix it for some reason, like in a large mixing bowl, and I'll do it in batches, but it's truly just fine to just throw the spoons into your pot and then add the water. I don't know why I end up doing the pre-mixing. So anyway, had I not thought about that, I would have just done it.
I know you'll be surprised to hear that I have an opinion on bouillon. And
Let's hear it.
it's important. It's an important opinion because this bouillon, which is supposedly chicken consomme, it's an Israeli brand, Osam. So you have to go into the kosher aisles to find it, is parve. It's from those chickens that are not meat and not dairy, they're parve. So if you're making a chicken soup, for example, for vegetarians, this takes care of it. And it's a powder versus the gloppy, better than bouillon. But I really, it's a little on the salty side. If you're cooking with this, you do not add salt. But I really, I really think it's good because again, vegetarians can use it. I throw it into rice all the time, just, in a
And-
bowl of rice.
Let me ask you this, so if you're using it for like a matzo ball or a chicken soup, do you like the actual flavor of, besides it being, it's not too salty, I'm assuming, and do you like the flavor of it as just a broth or?
It's comparable to any of the bouillons, just like any of the bouillons. So, you're looking at it that way. But yeah, in a matzo ball soup, let's face it, the reality is you're there for the matzo balls. You're not there for anything else. I mean, it's not like chicken soup with chicken in it, but it's a good soup, and it's a lot easier if you make chicken soup. It's a lot easier than making chicken soup out of a real chicken,
Right.
So I'll
right.
make this and then add some shredded chicken to it and the famous jalapeno matzo balls. But
I think you might need to share that recipe before this weekend.
I love that.
Because I'm not like a big matzo ball person, but I love some spice, so that sounds right up my alley.
Okay, I can send that. Is your email address in the
I'm sure Deb can share it in the chat.
Okay, Deb, send me her email address.
Yep.
Okay, and Deb, you have that recipe too, because
Yeah, but you have it at your fingertips. I'm just gonna give you the contact.
yes, I will send it. I also was out this weekend. I was looking at something, and there was a saffron sofrito matzo ball, and it was wild and crazy. I'll send you that one. Also, I have not tried that. And
okay, so good disclaimer. I like the idea of mixing it up with the matzo balls. I think that's a good call.
That was adapted from a Bobby Flay recipe.
Ooh,
I was like, what? I mean, I didn't put all
Okay.
those notes into my recipe, but she was saying how weird it was that she found it there. But he put sofritos into everything.
That's amazing. All right, I like that. I would like a horseradish flavored matzo ball to sort of combine the gefilte fish and the matzo balls together. I think that would be, and I don't think that would be hard to do, actually.
No, that should be easy.
Yeah.
The other
Okay, so just to the soup for a second. So I added my broth. I'm not sure where everybody else is, but at the same time, you should be adding your sweet potatoes, your lentils, your curry paste, and letting them all combine. So I'm gonna add my sweet potatoes, which again, I'm sorry, I'm starting to dump them, but sort of like a small dice is what I did over there. Your curry paste, quarter cup curry paste. I use oh, I didn't show you my jar. I mean, I think we probably all know what we like, but I really liked, I mean, I use different curry paste for different things. I think this is a good one for the red curry paste. There's also that Masuri brand that I love for when I'm making like a real curry, and you get it at the Asian market, but this is a good, just regular red curry paste.
I did not have the curry paste. I used curry sauce, which is not as a Thai curry sauce that was not as spicy as what you're using. So I just added a little red pepper to bring up the taste a little bit.
Got it. Okay. And you're gonna add your lentils. So you could rinse your lentils, and then it's like about 2.5 cups or 1 bag if you have 1 bag. It's not nothing specific there. Give it a good stir. Lentils, curry paste. Yeah, that's good. And we're gonna cook it until it reaches a simmer. So I'm gonna like turn my heat up just so that we don't delay on this and try to get it simmering. It's a big pot, so I don't know, Deb, you might have to start singing and dancing.
I got my tap shoes on. So
Good.
what I will tell everyone is today's recipe by Sly Rooster is roasted carrots and cabbage with, how do you say it? Gochujang.
Gochujang? I'm not sure. I say gochujang, but I think
Korean
that's for
pepper paste, right? Is that what it is? Korean pepper
yes.
paste?
Which,
Yeah.
you know, like I would say 3 years ago that was like a weird and unique ingredients, and now I feel like it's in Trader Joe's. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's so good. It's like that, like umami, like sweet and spicy mixture, and I'm obsessed. I could use it as ketchup, and my mom could say how much I love ketchup.
I even saw a recipe that just puts that over a whole chicken, a roasted chicken.
Oh.
And that's the spice. That's it. And roasted chicken with that's gochujang or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere now. I agree.
It's so good. And you know, it's when they sell it, it's like in a paste, or you know, it'll be in a tub or in a tube, and it's good straight up. But then there's also just a lot of like recipes now that will combine it with a little rice wine vinegar, maybe a little mirin, you know, just to soften it a little bit. And those are great also. So I feel like buying gochujang for this recipe that I posted today, you will find like all of a sudden it'll be like, wait, why does this keep popping up? You know, like when you like tune into something and you're like, now I hear it all the time. I think gochujang is everywhere. So it's a good ingredient to have.
It is on all the cooking shows, but having never tasted it or never knowingly tasted it, just how spicy is it?
It's not like crazy spicy. I mean, it has a little bit of a kick, but it has a sweetness that balances it out. And it has, like, if you get it in a tub, so it hasn't been thinned at all, it's got the texture of like a miso. So if it were spicy, you could easily, to your palate, you could easily just give it a little whisk with some oil, you know, something to just sort of like dilute it a bit. And I can't imagine that it would be too spicy. If you have curry, any sort of curry in your refrigerator or in your pantry, then you'd be fine with gochujang. It's good. It's really good. I love the balance of it. I think it achieves a lot in one like ingredient that you try to achieve in many recipes when you're trying to combine like the sweet and the spicy and the acid and the, you know, whatever all together.
Okay,
Dani,
oh, so go ahead. Sorry.
Dani is an authority on condiments. She is the condiment queen.
Yes, I could take you to my refrigerator, which I would right now because I recently had it fixed and it's very, very clean and bright, but it is like so much condiments. It's insane. It's apparently my kids follow suit and they have that too.
I was going to say, like, but because you have like this facility with different condiments and you know what, like that roasted carrot recipe, it basically is, you know, a little cumin, that paste, and then some white wine vinegar. And today's recipe, you know, today's recipe didn't really have a whole bunch of different spices in it, right?
No.
So, I mean, I really love the idea that you know which of the main kind of product we can use that cuts out like 7 or 8 others.
Absolutely. And you know, I had planned like today's post like a couple of weeks ago, but yesterday I read Bon Appetit magazine that I still am a subscriber, and it comes, and I read an issue that came a couple of weeks ago, and it's the travel issue, which I'm always like, oh, well, am I really going to hit these like Hong Kong, you know, the places that they talk about? So I sort of put it on the back burner. But the first article in the magazine was about when you travel and come home, what's a quick meal that you could make with what you find in your pantry and your refrigerator? And I love that article. I literally dog-eared the whole thing. And I felt like the carrot and the cabbage today was exactly that, because carrots and cabbage both can live in your refrigerator for a good 2 weeks. I mean, maybe longer. And the gochujang certainly can. So this was, and that's what I sort of said, it was such a pantry staple meal, even involving your refrigerator. And I love, love, love that. So I feel like it's a little bit like those are the good recipes to keep in your back pocket, because I love a good meal when I get home after a long day of travel, but I'm certainly not going to run to the supermarket. You know, it's got to be what I have, you know.
My doctor's going to be very happy with you because I usually just pull out some ice cream. So thank you.
I usually either boil pasta and make a quick sauce, or eggs, which we did the other night when we got back late, like make an omelet with whatever's in there and a good omelet. So that's my go-to. I'd love to hear everybody's like day home from travel meal, because I think that's the kind of stuff I love. I love to know what's in people's fridge. I love to know what they make when they get home. But
let's see, Marcia, you just traveled. What did you eat on your return? Oh, Fatu was traveling. Julie Erdman, you've been traveling. Anybody want to fess up on what their first meal home was?
Hi, Julie Erdman.
Very cool.
Yeah, I would say yogurt and nuts and whatever dried fruit is around, just to it's not a real meal, but it does.
Hits the spot. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds healthy.
I know these guys are much healthier than I am. This is.
I know.
I
I'm
gotta
like,
clean up
give
my
me a
act.
bowl of pasta. That's awesome. All right, is anybody simmering? Where is everybody at? Okay, I'm simmering also. So at this point, we're gonna reduce the heat to medium low, although I would say that I'm cooking in a really big pot. So if you're all following these same direction, same quantities, I would say keep your pot at like medium. I wouldn't go too low because it just takes longer. And you're gonna cover it. You're gonna actually, did we already add? Yeah, we added the lentils. Okay, so at this point, you're gonna cover it. So you're gonna cover, and I feel like we might go over time here. So you're gonna cover it. And we can keep chatting, but ultimately this is going to have to cook for like another 20 minutes or so. You want everything to be tender, so you could just take a little taste. And when it's tender enough, because it's basically done cooking, that's when you're going to add the coconut milk, the kale, the peanut butter, the lime juice, and mix it all together, taste it. I added a little bit of salt and pepper. And this is something that it wasn't on the recipe. Oh, it was in the recipe. Okay, I like a little sweet. My mom could also attest to this. I like sweet to my savory. It's a little bit odd because I'm not into sweets on their own. I'm not a big dessert person, but I love like those balance of flavors. I think that's why I'm drawn to so much Asian food, is because I love the interplay. And so I added a little bit of brown sugar to it just to sort of balance out the heat of the curry and then the acidity of the lime juice, the sweetness of the sweet potatoes. So that's why you might want to taste it first, because if your sweet potatoes are really sweet, then you might not need it. I always would just probably add it. And then that's, going to be the recipe. We can keep talking and answering questions, and then you kind of garnish it with the cilantro and peanuts at the end if you're into that. And as far as making it to deliver, I probably would leave out both the cilantro and the peanuts for the people that you're delivering it to. One, because peanuts are such a hot button, but also, and maybe cilantro too, actually. But those things just they don't really travel well or hold well. I find that the peanuts will tend to get a little bit soft, and the cilantro just might kind of lose its punch. So,
But there is peanut butter in the soup.
Totally. Oh, you're right, actually. So it's already a hot bun. You're right. I just probably wouldn't add the peanuts unless I was just serving it to, when I eat it tonight, I will add the peanuts and the cilantro. I probably won't add it to my quarts.
So I had almond butter, a smooth almond butter in my refrigerator, and I used it and I thought it was absolutely great.
Perfect.
But here's my question. I had already made my labels that said contains peanuts. Peanuts and almonds are totally different. It's not just a nut tree allergy, right?
I think so. I think peanuts are a legume, and I think almonds are a tree nut.
They're totally different in terms of the allergens.
So I do need to say almond.
Yeah.
Contains
Yeah.
almonds. Not
Because
peanuts.
some people are allergic to peanuts and not tree nuts, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
I know this because my daughter has allergies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No, super important for sure. And you also, I don't know how you're cooking it right now, but you could use one of those soy nut butters 100%. I mean, it's for the creaminess, it's for that sweet nut kind of combo, that's why they're in there. But, I think a soy nut butter would work fine as well.
Okay.
I remember when the kids were little, we were in a play group and there were 3 kids with like very, very serious peanut allergies in our like really initial play group from when my oldest was like 3 months old, and we're still close friends. And I was so I was as on it for their allergy as if it were my own kid. And I just feel like I've been so conscious, and I didn't even feed my kids peanuts for like the first 2 years of their lives, because at the time that was like the wisdom, you didn't eat peanuts while you were pregnant, and you didn't feed them peanuts for 2 years. I'm sure that has changed like 5 times since. But my kids, we ate sun nut butter forever, and I thought it was totally delicious and fine. So that would be a great substitute.
Okay. And what's the preferred way to mark? Because it's otherwise a vegan soup, right? So it's vegan, but it's got these nuts that we need. Marge, what's your opinion on how you let people know? Vegan
I would say contains peanuts.
And don't bother saying vegan, just say contains.
Well,
I say both. I
Yeah,
do both.
you could definitely say it's vegan. I mean, for I don't usually use vegan on my blog because I feel like it's a little bit of like it turns people off in some way.
Yeah.
But it's certainly if you're giving this to somebody and they're going to eat it, like it's good for them to know. And coconut milk is a vegan creamy thing, so I would 100% put vegan on these.
So vegan contains for me almonds. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually include coconut. I say contain peanut and coconut.
Are people allergic to coconut, Julia?
I think some people like to know that it contains coconut.
People
Okay,
are
I think
allergic
you're
to
right.
cinnamon and people are allergic to celery seeds. So I have started listing all ingredients in small print, but the allergens like peanuts will be in red when I put it on because I type my own. I'm sorry, I don't use your labels. Your labels are beautiful, but I don't have the patience to deal with that. I am not Lisa, who does a beautiful job labeling her soup every week. She has the prettiest labels, and mine are just stupid typed in Calibri or whatever it is.
You use Calibri, Marge?
I do.
Ridiculous.
What should I use? Arial?
Lisa, what's the best font? Look, she's got her little
Lisa, what do you have there? Let me see.
Her beautiful label.
Oh, I love it.
That is gorgeous.
And back to Julie, I think saying that it contains coconut milk is super smart. I think that was Julie that said, who said that actually?
Julia Small. Yeah.
Yeah, Julia. Okay, I think that actually is really smart. I didn't think about that, but on my labels, I will write that as well. Yeah. Is anybody like getting soft and simmery or what's happening in everyone's pots? Mine's boiling, but I'm kind of liking that because I'm kind of wanting to move along.
So don't worry too much, Dani, if people need to finish up after we hang up, and because this group is so advanced in terms of soup making. But let's talk about what you taste when your vegetables are finally soft and you put in your coconut milk, your kale, your peanut butter, and your lime juice. For me,
you taste deliciousness.
You totally do. You totally do. But I don't know, if my tastes are what other people's tastes are, but I wanted salt, a little bit of salt, and I thought it made a huge difference. I didn't really want pepper, and usually I put pepper in stuff, but I felt like there was enough kind of spiciness already going on. How about anybody?
I would totally agree with that. I don't think it needs pepper. I always add salt. And when I had the soup business where I made soup for people, I think that was and like I said, I understand if people have health restrictions, but I think when you cook with salt, that's a totally different category than prepare, like what is it? Foods, packaged foods or whatever it's called that have salt built in. So I definitely taste for salt and add salt, and I'll add like a good hand of salt, and it's to a pot like this. I mean, what does it say here? It says 1 tablespoon to start. I'm just guessing that I'm going to end up adding at least 2 little handfuls of salt to this. And I use most chefs seem to prefer Diamond kosher salt. I prefer Morton's, and I've really tried both, and I've tried to like Diamond more, but I like Morton's. But so Morton's I think is a little bit stronger or saltier than Diamond. And the chunks are a little bigger, so you use less, but I'll still end up using probably 2 tablespoons of salt in that pot is what my guess is. But again, I'll taste for it. And you're right, I don't think it needs the pepper.
Need pepper, but I thought the lime also was so key, and so much so that now, I think that I'm gonna become Lisa Gappa-Norris without the artistic talent. I think that I'm gonna start to put on my soups from now on, to serve a little squirt of lime juice when you heat this.
Yeah.
It seems to really make all the difference, doesn't it?
I absolutely, because it brightens up all the flavors. So the flavors can kind of come, like they get a little muddy, which doesn't mean that they're not good, but you kind of can't taste all the different flavors. And what I think an acid does, whether it's vinegar, lime, lemon, any of them, is it brightens everything. So it's sort of like everything has come together, but the acid kind of makes you be able to taste all of those disparate elements is what I think. So yeah, the lime is great. And again, if you don't add the peanuts or the cilantro, you could always, I mean, it's probably hard for some of the places you're delivering the soups to, but that's something that people can add on their own as well.
Yeah.
I have a question about the red curry paste. So I have this massaman curry paste. I missed part of your discussion before because I was chopping, and then I have the gochujang.
Oh, good.
So what do
The
you think?
gochujang was just a conversation
That was
separate
just-
about
okay.
today. Yeah, I love that. That's a great curry paste. So yeah.
Okay, good.
And
All right.
it says a quarter cup, which is probably about what that can is. So I would just toss the whole thing in probably.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great curry paste. The gochujang or gochujang, however you say it, I don't know, but I posted a recipe on my blog today, which is what Deb brought up, using carrots and cabbage. You could apply the recipe technique that I posted to any vegetable that you want, and it would be amazing. I mean, it would be good on broccoli or cauliflower or
How about
anything like
turnips?
that.
Marcia's a huge fan of turnips. I think turnips.
Oh, I
would
love
go with that.
turnips. Yes.
Parsnips,
Turnip.
Oh,
parsnips.
shoot.
Parsnips. Yes, I love parsnips. Oh my God, it would be amazing on parsnips because the sweetness of the parsnips, oh, it would be so good.
It's in the
Love
chat, Marcia, the recipe that she sent
I
out.
love parsnips too. I have really though, I recently said to my husband that I think my favorite vegetable is cabbage. And he was like, you cannot be serious. I'm like, no, I really, truly, I'm become somewhat obsessed with cabbage. So I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. My Eastern European roots, but I freaking love cabbage. And so that's my vegetable right now, cabbage.
I had a question about the peanut butter that we add later. I remember when we did a Thai peanut curry one, we needed to like dissolve the peanut butter into some hot liquid before it went into the pot, or else it just clumped or something. Do I need to do that? What do you think?
No. Was that like a natural peanut butter that you were using?
Oh God, no.
No. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, I'm skippy.
Oh, no, I've got...
No, it'll be totally fine. Just mix it all in. I'm not sure what that was, but no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you for asking though, but no, it'll be fine. And I'm glad you're not a natural peanut butter person. I never understood those people.
Also, I don't do well with bell peppers, so I skipped all the peppers.
You won't miss them.
More sweet potatoes. I just added some Brussels sprouts and carrots. I'm just like,
oh, that's good.
What do you think?
I would have suggested carrots, so I'm glad you did. And
that's what I did.
Brussels sprouts will be great. Yeah, that's great.
Cool.
It's just like just another element. It probably would have been fine without either, but I think that carrots is a great substitute.
Cool. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
I don't know, as someone who doesn't eat peanuts, I thought I did a very good job in making a peanut butter soup that my husband actually likes. I did not add the sugar, and I'm glad I didn't, because his response was, it's sweet.
Yes. Peanut butter, regular peanut butter, not natural peanut butter, is sweet. I'm telling you, I'm weird about it. Being that don't like desserts, I definitely do like sweet in my savory. So yes, it is sweet. He's not wrong. I like it. Yeah.
Well, he was happy with it.
I also like spicy, so I think maybe it's like the combo, the double punch. I like flavor. I really like strong flavors.
I like flavors as long as it's dark chocolate.
And
I like red wine. That's another good flavor.
Well, there you go.
That's mine.
Yeah. Where is yours, Mom? You're not showing
It's
your wine.
only 3:45 here.
Oh yeah, my parents live in Montana, so my mom is holding out until 4 o'clock apparently. I think this is
4:30.
4:30. I think this is a good reason for you to start early.
No,
She's afraid of being judged by my dad.
exactly.
I have a question about coconut milk also.
Yes.
So I used a little coconut milk like 2 weeks ago, and then I put it in a container in the refrigerator and haven't used it since. But I think I need to get rid of it. I don't know if it holds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either, and we're pretty good about using up leftovers. My husband will eat things that have been in the fridge for 2 weeks, no problem. I probably would toss it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but I just don't know if anybody knew the shelf life.
I'm not sure. Does anyone know once a can of coconut milk is open?
Oh, I should ask Google, but I'll get rid of it. I have some more in the pantry.
Yeah, and I thought that I heard you say, someone say that they only use the 2 cans. I thought the 3 cans of coconut milk was really great here, and I thought the whole milk coconut milk, if you choose to go that route, really gave it a richness. It wasn't bad with the low fat coconut milk or the light coconut milk. You can feel free to do that, but I did really like the full fat coconut milk. And since we're sharing and you're not going to eat the whole pot, I thought, well, why not go for it?
Cheryl, the answer is 1 week in an airtight container.
Yes, Google is telling me that also.
Okay, I didn't know, I thought you were cooking. I looked it up because I figured everyone else is cooking. I'm just.
Oh yeah, I multitask. Yeah, and it prefers a glass jar or airtight container. But anyway, it's
gone. It's history. Yeah. That's okay.
I think if they say a week, it's good for at least 10 days or 2 weeks.
2 weeks is pushing it. I might go with 10 days. I have to tell Deb, I should tell everyone. Denise, you'll appreciate this story too. A lovely story about our friends at the Up County Hub. So I told you about a month ago that the Up County Hub was doing these renovations, and they've completed the ramp, except they're supposed to be railings around it. They don't have that yet. But the ramp's been there for a couple of weeks. They got, instead of the one big refrigerator unit, they now have 2 half units. One is a refrigerator unit, one is a freezer. So we no longer have any problems and we can bring as much soup as we want. And yes, I was very happy and very excited because I no longer have to send quantities to Raven ahead of time.
Good.
Yeah, so that was great. I haven't seen them open yet, but they are hooked up and they are against it. It's if you've been up there, they changed the configuration. It's worth going just to look at it. They did a nice job.
Good to hear. Although it's going to be hard to pull me away from that European market outside of the other things.
So Deb, I wanted to add something about your almond butter.
Yes.
If you want something good, try cardamom on almond butter.
Ooh.
And it does not work on peanut butter. Doesn't go. But either full seeds from a cardamom pod or, sprinkle some cardamom.
I love it. Thank you.
I've put shoot, I'm gonna look now, like a shot on peanut butter, and it was delicious. Like, let me just see my pantry, which has cardamom in it.
One of my friends in grad school used to melt cheddar cheese on peanut butter, which I thought was the weirdest looking thing, but it was actually pretty good.
Chaat masala. I've put chaat masala, which is in this, it's in a wrong jar, but sprinkle this on peanut butter and it was really delicious. But it's a combo of like cumin and cardamom and a whole bunch of different spices. I forgot about that, but that's good. Probably better on almond butter, I'm supposing, but so good. Now that might be in addition to my soup.
Marcia, do you put that on an apple? Almond butter on an apple with a little cardamom on there?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
that's
sounds really
that's
good.
another good come home from vacation thing.
That'd be
Peanut butter
right
with
that and some wine.
Yes. Yeah, anybody else want to share your come home from vacation meals? I love those kind of things. Nothing, not going to the store.
Cereal and milk. Cereal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm happy with cereal.
But you have to have milk.
Yeah, but there's usually milk still.
Okay.
I guess still on my way, I guess.
Okay. All right, that's good. I'm a big cereal. That's my like late night snack, cereal.
Dry or with milk?
With milk. I learned it from my dad, who has a bowl of cereal every night before bed. And so all of my siblings and I follow suit. And we have a bowl of cereal with milk every night, almost before bed. I try not to do it every night, but it's almost.
Pegphilia, welcome.
Peanut butter and toast or cheese and crackers.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't know why I don't think to do that. Like that's much easier also.
Yeah, cheese and crackers is, my go-to. My
Yeah.
husband's not around.
Yes.
Cheese and crackers for dinner. Girl dinner.
Girl dinner. Do you follow the cheese gal from Nashville at all? It's kind of random, but on Instagram?
I have 5 sisters, and a lot of them keep sending me stuff about charcuteries and cheese ladies. So I get so much stuff on all
Yeah.
these
Wait
charcuterie
a minute,
boards
I
and
didn't
things.
mention charcuteries, and we've got Dani online. Dani, can you show some pictures?
Oh, I don't know. Can I? I don't know how to do
Please?
that. I don't know how to show.
I'm gonna
You
share.
might have to give her permission,
She's
Deb.
got it.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah, it's mine. It's Sly Rooster cheese. But there's this other cheesemonger, cheese charcuterie maker in Nashville called the Cheese Gal, and she started this whole thing with like she calls it couch dinner or couch snacks or something like that. And she makes these amazing bites, and I'm all about the bite. Like my husband makes fun of me because I'm like I save like the elements of my dinner to make like perfect bites, but she'll do like the cheese and a little bit of Mike's hot honey and the apple, and it's like perfect, but it's not even all cheese related. She's just good content, and she's sort of like evolving. But that's what I want to say about the cheese gal. But yes, I do have like a cheese and charcuterie.
My sister lives in Florida, and they have the cheese lady there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She has like a food truck that sells really great cheeses. They just come to the farmers market that they have there. And
That's
so
awesome.
don't steal this idea from me, but my one sister and I want to do, she has a beach place down in North Carolina, and they have a marina there. And we want to do like a 2-week pop-up called fromage, and just have these pre-wrapped cheese things that you can take when you go out on your boat.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And do
That's
that. And
awesome.
if it, like what's 2 weeks out of your life? Like, come on,
No,
just
that's
give
great.
it a try and see
I
what
do.
happens.
So I am not planning on going down to North Carolina or stopping at a marina, but I do make cheese boards for a business, and they're all custom. And there's
Wait,
a company
what's
called
your business
Bordery.
name?
It's called Sly Rooster Cheese.
Okay.
And there's a company called Bordery that has like nationalized this, and they do a good job. It's all like sort of vacuum sealed, pre-wrapped sections. Mine are definitely all like custom and handmade, and I deliver within the local area. But it's hard. The packaging part is the tricky part. So if you tackle that and figure it out, let me know how it goes.
Maybe I'll have to see what you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the pictures. They're absolutely gorgeous. I have eaten many of Dani's cheese.
Oh, wow.
boards. They're just beautiful. I'm sorry I didn't come prepared to show them earlier. I forgot.
Wow.
Look at that. Is that not
Look
gorgeous?
at that with my favorite, the peeps.
Yeah, that was.
And the
Easter,
bunny.
obviously.
I know. Is
Yeah.
that great? Look at that.
Peeps.
And most of you, we don't have Hannah on today, so everybody's local enough that if you wanted to contact Dani, you could have this. in your
Definitely.
next
Oh, that's so nice.
So
Sly
instead of, like,
Rooster
having the
cheese.
kids-
Gonna go follow her on Instagram now.
But meanwhile, the irony is that I have like a whole cheese refrigerator in my garage, and it never once occurs to me to eat like cheese and crackers for dinner when I'm on a trip. So therein lies the problem. I need to
be like a
figure that part out.
busman's holiday. You can't do that.
But
Yeah,
is
I
it like
guess so.
is it like you're sick of it? Like, I mean, I bake cookies and
No.
everybody's like, how do you not eat them? I'm like, I don't. Like when I might have one out of a whole batch, and that's it.
Yeah, it is funny because I don't want to say I'm sick of it, although I will say that I definitely ate more cheese before I started this business.
Yeah.
And I mean, I always get I order the cheese from like a artisanal distributor, I get new wheels all the time. I'm always mixing it up. So it's not like I'm sick of the flavors, but yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't eat as much cheese as I used to, for sure.
Well,
But
one of the things I like about your boards is they really are, they do have some delicious cheeses, but a cheese is a piece of these boards. Look at what you have going on there, the meats and
Yeah.
the fruits.
Yeah,
and
that's so nice.
So much going on.
The dried apricots and the olives and everything. It's beautiful.
They're just
And the
beautiful.
radishes. Oh my God, radishes.
great.
Yeah, they're really beautiful, Dani.
Oh, thank you. Well, I always, I feel like I hope that people consider them like I definitely want people to eat them. Like people are like, they're so too pretty to eat. I'm like, no, they're meant to be eaten. But at the same time, I feel like it should be like a little bit of a wow moment. So maybe you forego some of the other decorations that you might have to do for a party, and you just sort of have a board, you know. But
Oh, yeah.
I like making them. But I should be eating cheese when I get home from vacation, and now I'm gonna have that like top of mind. I have to say I'm a little bit annoyed that I ended up using that Trader Joe's broth because I smell it and it doesn't smell as good to me as the Better Than bouillon. So hopefully all of you are happy with the way your soup is smelling and that you're happy with the broth you chose. I do think it'll all work out in the end, but I don't know why. I love Trader Joe's and that broth is just not my favorite. Has anyone else used it? Does anyone else have an opinion on it? I think it's actually just a very strongly flavored vegetable broth, which might be great for some people, but I think of vegetable broth as being more of a neutral. I think that's my issue with it.
That's what I have a problem with some of the boxed ones. That's why I really like the jarred
Yes.
bouillon, because some of the boxed ones have an overwhelming taste, and
Right.
I don't want them to overwhelm the soup.
No, it's almost like I want a little bit more than water. You know, and I probably should have anticipated. I knew that's how I felt about it. In hindsight, I wish I sort of did half water and half that broth if that was the route I chose to go, or I wish that I just stuck to my guns and used the Better Than bouillon. But anyway.
Or I'm gonna put a plug in for making your own broth if you have the time, because it's
Oh my
always
God.
mellow and it's, it saves all that salt that you can add later and you feel good about it. So I'm
I
putting,
love that. My only problem, Deb, is that I never have enough freezer space.
yeah.
I just feel like my freezer's stocked with like fruit, like it's just too stocked to like put quarts of broth in. But
No. I usually make my broth out of the ingredients that I'm using for the soup. So I like store up just a little bit of peels in the freezer, and then whatever the soup is gonna have. So I used like the sweet potato peels today, whatever.
Did you really?
I even threw a couple of limes in. They tell you to be careful about that, but I only put like 2 of the already, I took all the juice out and then put a couple of limes in. I just figured like, okay, I'm going to use the vegetables that are in each week's soup as an enhancer, but not with a lot of flavor, so I don't know.
So let me ask you, so you like it when you made your soup, like maybe 2 hours earlier, you just peeled and prepped your vegetables and you boiled that for like an hour or so?
Boiled it down and then had my broth made from mostly I had in the freezer, a little bit of celery, a little bit of onion peels. When I did my garlic, I threw the ends of the garlic in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do.
That's really awesome, actually. I'm going to try to model that. I think that's a really, really good idea because then you don't have the storage issue.
You just use it up that day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
Dani, I also make my own broth, and I actually finished it on yesterday's soup. So I made broth today for tonight's soup based on stuff that I had kept in the freezer. But this is for your mom. She will like this. 30 years ago.
I'm here.
30 years ago, I bought a freezer. I live in Bethesda. I bought a freezer, and my sister, who lives outside of Boston, said to me, "You bought a freezer? Why did you buy a freezer? What, do you live in Montana or something? You have all these groceries." So that's for your mom. But the funny thing is, you were talking earlier, my sister does not cook. Her husband, thank God, does all the cooking because otherwise they would starve to death. And my sister's idea of cooking dinner is milk and cereal and milk.
Not just the return from vacation dinner.
No, that's her dinner. That's, if you ask her to cook something, she will cook cereal and milk. I don't know when the last time was anyone asked her to cook anything.
Well, good thing that she has a cook husband, because otherwise that would be tough.
See, that's just the opposite of me.
Yeah, my father would be sustaining himself on cereal and milk without my mom, 100%.
I don't even like cereal. I don't eat it. We would eat, if we were to do a trip and come home and need something, yes, cheese and crackers would be there. My husband would have that horrible peanut butter and crackers. And the other thing that no one mentioned is we eat a lot of tuna fish. We always have cans
Oh.
of tuna. And
I
there's,
like tuna too.
yeah, and it's easy to make and it's always here. So yeah, that's probably, it would be tuna or cheese with crackers.
What
Alright,
about boxed macaroni and cheese?
Oh,
Oh,
that's,
do you do
when the-
that?
once the kids moved out, that was gone, Dee Dee.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's good with ketchup on it.
Ah!
Danny, tell them.
Mom, you just revealed our family secrets. You had to stop.
All right, I'm ending this recording because that really upset me.
I'm